Hellos and welcomes everyone. AnthWolf here, bringing you a new Let's Play. It's that time again. We're going to be doing another Let's Play of Star Wars The Old Republic. Developed by Bioware and published by EA, also known as Electronic Arts, and distributed of course by LucasArts, though that may no longer be true when Disney obviously picked up the rights. I haven't looked into it to find out if that's true or not. Either way, I imagine most people who are watching this video are well aware what Star Wars The Old Republic is all about. Just in case, it's an MMORPG, an online role-playing game where you can side with two warring factions, the Sith Empire or the Galactic Republic, and in the Star Wars universe, it's set about 3,500 years prior to the Star Wars movies that most people are more aware of. And I thoroughly enjoy playing this game. Occasionally you get annoyed, you get server lag, but I've enjoyed the individual classes and their storylines that Bioware have put the time into developing for this universe. Each faction has 4 playable classes and 4 independent storylines. And for this playthrough, as you can no doubt tell from the wallpaper here, this playthrough is going to be a Let's Play of the Jedi Consular. It's one of the playable classes I've yet to do for the channel, and we're going to see what it's all about. I will admit I've already, in the past, completed Act 1. And in the main storyline there are 3 acts of the storyline, and then of course there are expansions like Rise of the Hutt Cartel, the Shadow Revan expansion, which add further arcs to the storyline. But we're definitely going to go through the first 3 acts, and then whether or not I feel comfortable enough or happy enough to go into the expansions, we'll just have to wait and see. I would like to, but things don't always happen the way I'd like them to. But yes, the Jedi Counselor is one of the 2 playable classes who works upon or amongst the Galactic Republic. The Jedi Counselor compared to the Jedi Knight, I suppose, is they focus on more of the spiritual side of the Force. They kind of deal with the more diplomatic duties of the Jedi Order. Not always true, but sometimes true, depending on what the Jedi or what the Republic may ask of them. And the Jedi Consular has 2 advanced classes, which you used to have to choose after you left your prologue world of Typhon, but you can now select your advanced class during character creation. You have the Jedi Sage, who delves more deeply into Force-related powers, and you have the Jedi Shadow, who wields a double-bladed lightsaber, and even though they still have some Force powers available to them, they actively seek out users of the dark side and try to get them to repent and stop using the dark side, or of course slay them, so that they can't corrupt anyone else, or continue their search for power, which is what most dark side users tend to do. They covet their power. This playthrough, like to my others, for the most part, is going to be what I consider a long Let's Play. In that, how I mean by that is I plan to not only do the class missions that the Jedi Consular has to complete to go through the story arcs, but I want to do the world missions. As we visit various worlds, the Republic will ask for our aid in whatever troubles are occurring on that world. And I'm also going to be looking to maybe do most of the exploration missions, which are optional. It gives you a bit more lore, a bit more flavor text on what's happening in the situation, as well as experience and rewards and so on and so forth. And I may do a selection of the heroic missions. Heroic missions are extremely good for experience, and I think when we get into the further expansions, like Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne, you gain rewards that you can use for various things from vendors, which I don't know much about. But heroic missions, I might do them if I'm in the mood to. Otherwise, once I'm level 60, level 65, the level cap's level 70, I might do the heroics off camera, and if I was to do that, I would let you know. But yeah, the only other thing I really need to mention is, like most of my Let's Plays for this game, I will be wearing a set of adaptive armor. This armor I will probably equip maybe at level 10, unless there's a good point in the storyline where my character would maybe garb themselves. And this armor will basically stick with us for the entirety of the game. It can be upgraded with item modifications, and I'll likely show that off. Most people will know what I'm talking about because I've had to explain it a few times in my other playthroughs, and most people will probably be aware because they've played this game already. But yes, I will probably show it off once at the beginning, and then anytime I feel right to upgrade the armor again, I'll do it off camera. But yeah, in a moment we'll get into character creation, and we'll talk a bit more there. We'll talk more about the Jedi Consular's role. There is a kind of backstory, giving you a bit more information on what the Consular is meant to do, what their role is in the Galactic Republic and just in the galaxy itself. And we'll find that out as we're creating our character. So yeah, I'll see you in just a moment when we get to character creation. And we'll get started. And welcomes back everyone. Let's get ourselves ready for character creation in this Let's Play. We of course will be playing on a EU server, the server known as the Red Eclipse, where most of my characters are playable at the moment. Before we get started, obviously we have still yet to attain legendary status. To obtain this, we need to complete the full 8 class specific stories of the original Star Wars The Old Republic, which is the 3 story arcs we were talking about earlier. Of the Jedi Counselors, I'm only aware of the first arc, and I'm not sure where they go from there. If possible, if you could avoid maybe putting spoilers in the comments below, both for myself and other viewers, and with that in mind, this playthrough, like my other playthroughs, like most of my games on the channel, will contain spoilers, so if you want to avoid them, feel free to pick up the game yourself. It is free to play, you don't need to be a subscriber like myself, and play through the game yourself, enjoy yourself, play single player like I do, or play it with a bunch of friends, and see how you feel, and then maybe come back, if you want. To get legendary status, which is just an icon next to your player name really, I'm not sure if it gives you anything else, we need to complete the story arcs of the Jedi Consular and of the Trooper, 2 factions of the Galactic Republic. And we've only recently finished the Jedi Knight faction, well, its storyline, about 5 months ago now when I last played the game. And I did want to take the Jedi Knight into the expansions, but something occurred, I got frustrated, I left the game, and it's only now, after May the 4th, 2017 here, have I finally decided to come back and play it again. It always pulls me back, this game. Anyhows, let's get our character created. I still have 2 level boosts, one for the 3rd expansion, Knights of the Fallen Empire, and obviously we have Knights of the Eternal Throne. I think the patch I'm playing on is 5.2.1, though there have been some minor patches because there is a couple of days left of double experience, and we'll talk about that when we actually get into the game, because I'm not sure if, depending on my schedule, I'll actually benefit from it. But even without double experience, in this game you level up amazingly quickly. So if I miss it, if I have to take a break for some reason, if something happens, then that's fine. Anyhows, we're going to be playing right at the very beginning at level 1. We will join the fight for the galaxy as you side with the Galactic Republic or the Sith Empire. Now, one thing to mention before we get into this is something lore friendly. Since obviously the Sith Empire has reappeared, and it reappeared in a strong way in an event known as the Sacking of Coruscant, which is the capital world of the Galactic Republic. And they destroyed the Jedi Temple there, killed hundreds of thousands of people most likely. But at the moment when they could have destroyed Coruscant completely, they used it as a bargaining chip to enforce an uneasy peace, an uneasy truce with the Republic. And now both sides are testing the waters. I'd probably blame the Sith Empire, but the Republic's probably doing it itself in the background, not obviously. And we're in a stage where basically the war could restart at any moment by one side openly doing something. And through the story arcs, definitely going into the third story arc, we know, or at least I know, that the war will begin again in earnest, and I'm not sure how much of the Jedi Counselor will have to be involved in that, but I know like the Imperial agent definitely had something to do with that. But yeah, we'll see how that develops. So, this is where we get to choose our allegiance. We have the Sith Empire, a rigid militaristic society where aliens are subjugated and the Sith Lords are supreme. The Empire is ruled by the mysterious, all-powerful Sith Emperor. To Imperial citizens, power is everything, and only the strongest ascend to glory. The Sith Empire is mostly made up by non-Force users, but, as it's mentioned, the Sith Emperor is the ruler of the Empire, and he delegates his tasks through a group of 10 or maybe 12 powerful Sith Lords known as the Dark Council, and they then delegate duties to the Sith Lords below them, and to Imperial intelligence, and to a group of the various, clans of the Mandalorians of the Bounty Hunter Guild, which have sided with the Sith Empire. And of course we have the Galactic Republic. Founded 20,000 years ago by explorers and diplomats, the Galactic Republic is a vast democracy led by the Supreme Chancellor. The Republic is a chaotic amalgam of many worlds, corporations and species, which often clash with one another. Which is true, especially in this period of unrest between the Empire and the Republic. Various worlds or factions on those worlds are vying for power, and some of them are trying to secede from the Republic and join the Empire, and vice versa. And we may be involved in some diplomatic talks to try and keep various planets aligned with the Republic, because some of them are of greater importance than others in terms of resources and technology and such. But we'll be playing as a member of the Galactic Republic. This is where we get to choose our class. As I say, you used to only choose the Jedi Consular class, and I think that was true all the way up until the latest expansion, Knights of the Eternal Throne. And now you get to choose your advanced class at level 1. They have changed how you gain skills, or what skills you gain at what levels. I'm not sure if they made it better or worse, but if I played a Jedi Consular 2 or 3 years ago and played one now, I would have a different experience in what skills I would have available at certain levels. That's for sure. So, in this playthrough, I made the decision myself to play as a Jedi Sage. Sages are famed for their wisdom as much as for their powerful healing and defensive skills. In troubled times, a sage brings together the insight of the past with raw power to change the flow of galactic events. Okay, that's fine. Now we get to choose our species. Unlike the Sith Empire, which looks down on all of the various lesser races, obviously they like humans, they like the pure-blooded Sith, of course. The Republic is made up of various different races, different species, from multiple different planets. For this playthrough, we're actually going to be playing as a Marillion. I think I pronounced that correctly, maybe not. They're a deeply spiritual people. They have a religion built around the basic concept of the Force, and they tattoo geometric designs onto their faces to celebrate their various life achievements, things they achieve as they grow up. I had a quick look into their culture and such before starting this Let's Play, because I wanted to find, or maybe choose a reasonable name for my Jedi Sage here. And so I learned a bit about how some Marillions worship a goddess known as Trikara, and the religion's called Trikal. And for this Let's Play, I'm going to be trying to somewhat roleplay it as followers of this religion. Let me get this right. Aren't entirely pacifists, but they don't fight for personal glory or personal gain. They fight to defend those who are weaker than themselves, and they fight for ideals that they find obviously good, and they give such to charity, and it seems like it would be a good way to play a Jedi. Obviously there is choices you can make which are less charming and diplomatic if you so choose, but we'll stray away from those choices. But it depends on the circumstances. We'll see what options are available to us. But as I say, yeah, we'll be playing as Marillion. I hope I got that pronounced correctly, but oh well. And we get to choose our gender. There are 2 different voice actors, voice actor, voice actress, and for this playthrough, decisions. I hadn't really made my mind up. Let's play as a female. Why not?
The Jedi way is to serve.
Okay. Now we get to play with our character's appearance. I have pre-designed both male or female. So let's get my notepad here and play with this for just a moment. No scars, complexion, that's fine.
The Jedi way is to serve.
Indeed it is. Okay, eye color. Those tattoos. There's no reason why you should lock these, like really. It just prevents you from adjusting them once you've selected them. It's become habit of me. Actually, that's the hairstyle I want. Handy. And is that the hair
best way to win
color?
Is by not fighting.
I think it is. So we get to choose our skin color now. Decisions. Maybe this one? maybe this one. We'll go with this one. And before we choose our character's name, let's put my notepad down again. Let's look into the story of the Jedi Consular. Feel free to skip ahead if you so wish. I'm just going to read through this, but if you're interested. Visionary Ambassador, Seeker of Jedi Wisdom. For more than 20,000 years, the Jedi Order has worked to promote peace and balance in the Galactic Republic, but each new day brings with it a new threat, promising to rip the Jedi and the entire galaxy apart. If the Republic is to survive, it needs leaders and visionaries. It needs the Jedi Consular. Jedi Consulars channel the power of the Force for strength in combat and wisdom in diplomacy. Years of arduous training and meditation have sharpened the Consulars' minds to cut to the truth as cleanly as their lightsabers cut through their foes. Whether unlocking long-forgotten mysteries of the Jedi, raising armies to fight for the Republic, or engaging in mortal combat with Dark Lords of the Sith, the Consular's deep attunement to the Force gives them all the power they need to rise to the occasion with poise and balance. Intimate attunement with the deepest Force mysteries gives Jedi Consulars the insight and empathy to deftly handle charged conflicts that confound even the most cunning senators and governors. But Consulars know when it's time to talk and when it's time to fight. When negotiations turn aggressive, Consulars demonstrate their gifts of foresight, anticipating and deflecting enemy attacks with fluid strikes from their lightsaber. Facing the darkness within. Jedi Consulars always seek to grow their knowledge of the galaxy, in understanding themselves and in comprehension of the Force that binds it all together. The commitment to this pursuit gives Consulars an unrivaled capacity for clarity in situations otherwise shrouded in darkness. However, the same dedication can also prove to be extremely perilous, inviting Consulars to explore paths that are better left untravelled. Some of the Jedi Order's greatest minds have been seduced to the dark side through purely academic inquiries. The Consular knows the pain of this temptation as a battle-hardened warrior knows the throbbing of an old wound. Before they can dispel the darkness in the galaxy, Jedi Consulars know they must first come to terms with the darkness within themselves. There's no avoiding the temptation to take shortcuts or even to use their knowledge for personal power. Consulars must constantly check their own motives. When tempted to step into the path leading to darkness, Consulars must remember the tormented fate of the Jedi who have passed that way before. This is the only way they can unite the Jedi Order and the Republic and rally the troops to rescue the galaxy from the menacing darkness. And take a breath. Bloody hell. So, yeah. That is related both to the Jedi Sage and the Jedi Shadow. The Shadows themselves going out to actually confront the darkness directly, even though the Sage would be doing that as well. As a Jedi Sage, we have 3 advanced disciplines, 2 of which are developed for dealing damage, 1 is developed for healing. This is especially useful for when you're doing flashpoints, which is the equivalent of dungeons in other online titles like World of Warcraft. And we might be doing a bit of healing, maybe, we'll see, depending on if we do many flashpoints in this game. But yeah, okay. So, the only thing left to do is to give our character a name. I had a couple to choose from. I'm going to go with this one and hope it isn't taken. We're going to go with Aya. And let me get this right. In honor, hopefully honor, of the goddess we will worship, we'll go with Ayakara. Now, hopefully it's not taken, before I press play and find out. If it isn't taken, it'll go through the opening sprawl of Star Wars, which everyone really knows, with John Williams' theme in the background, which unfortunately I'll have to mute and hopefully substitute with something of my own choosing, because of copyright, of course. And then we'll actually get on to the prologue world of Typhon and the opening cutscene. So, let's find out. Will we be playing as Ayakara? We will. I'll see you in just a moment.
Ah, Padawan. I heard your shuttle arriving. I am Master C.O. Bakard of the Jedi Council. Welcome to Tython. This is the ancestral home of our order, where the Jedi first came to be, and where our most promising Padawans complete their training.
The chance to see where the first Jedi walked, train where they trained, it's quite an honor.
So eager. You and your new master should get along nicely. Your instructors tell me that even in childhood you had a remarkable connection to the Force. We haven't seen such power in decades. I was hoping your new master would be here. Yuan left her dig site and is returning to Tython specifically to train you.
Sounds like Master Yuan's putting a lot of faith in me. We haven't even met.
Trust in your initial training, and never forget the Jedi Code. There is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force. This is... Yuan, I was beginning to worry.
So you've arrived safely, my Padawan. I'm sorry I can't greet you properly, but we already have a crisis on our hands.
I'm at your service, Master.
Tython is a treasure trove of ancient Jedi relics. Recently, our researchers uncovered several teaching holograms, but they've not been fully studied. These holograms may be records of the founders of the Jedi Order. They're absolutely irreplaceable. But a large group of Flesh Raiders has begun rampaging through that region. Those priceless holograms are in danger.
I've never heard of Flesh Raiders before.
The Flesh Raiders are Tython's natives. Savage cannibals who destroy everything in their path.
Including the hologram's projectors. Combat teams are pushing the Flesh Raiders back, but retrieving the holograms is the first task of your training.
No, Yuan, you can't risk a Padawan against Flesh Raiders, even for such important artifacts.
A Padawan who was stronger in the Force at 4 years old than I was at 15? Gifted students need greater challenges.
So I must recover these holograms and watch for Flesh Raiders. Where should I begin?
The holograms are in the Gnarls. Be vigilant. That region has dangers of its own. If you encounter any difficulties, contact me on this holocommunicator. When you have the holograms, meet me at the Jedi Temple. We have much to discuss.
Our new master's throwing us straight into the deep end. Okay. So, welcome to Tython, everyone. Okay. I will probably spend some time playing with all my preferences, how I like to play the game, set up the interface like I just have, and when we come back, we're going to be taking a journey further from the Master's Retreat into the Gnarls, and apparently retrieving some ancient Jedi holograms, which are preserving some of the ancient Jedi's knowledge. Master CEO, do you have anything new to say?
Go carefully, Padawan. Yuan is placing a lot of faith in you.
Yeah, apparently so.
Go carefully, Padawan. Yuan is placing a lot of faith in you.
Jedi Master, you're level 12. No, I'm not even going to insult you. That's not how I'm playing this character. Anyhows. Okay. We'll, sidestep. And when we come back, let's have a bit of a view. There you go. Right. When we come back, we will talk maybe for 10-15 minutes about various game mechanics, the interface here, and various things that I'm going to be doing often that I might as well explain now and get it out of the way. It's likely going to be a short, entirely skippable video if you know about the UI and the game mechanics and so on and so forth. If you don't and you're interested, feel free to watch it. Otherwise, it's probably going to be part 3 when we finally leave the Master's Retreat and head further into Tython and head over to the Gnarls to retrieve the Jedi holograms. But this has been AnthWolf, playing Star Wars The Old Republic as our Jedi Sage. I hope you're all going to enjoy this journey with me. And, as I say, we'll see how it goes. But, yeah. Otherwise, feel free to comment if you so wish. Always appreciate what you have to say, what you may think about this. If you've played a Consular yourself, without maybe going into the storyline, let me know what you thought of the storyline. Let me know what you think. Even just something short to, like, compare it to maybe another class. Which do you think is better? Which classes did you prefer? And yeah, something like that maybe. But otherwise, I'll see you for the next video, and if you're not interested in the game mechanics, I'll see you in part 3. But either way, I'll hopefully see you all next time. Until then, no. Bye bye now.